Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Tom's Hardware Podcast for October 18th, 2022. As always, I'm Tom's Hardware Editor-in-Chief, Avram Pilch, joined by Raspberry Pi expert Ash Hill and Associate Editor Les Pounder, and our very special guest, Riley, otherwise known as Artillect, who's built an amazing typewriter Linux terminal. So, Riley, what can you tell folks about yourself before we talk about your unbelievable project?
Yeah, so I'm Riley. I go by Artillect online. I make YouTube videos right now just about this project, but I'm planning on working on some other stuff and getting that out there. But yeah, I have a degree in mechanical engineering from Johns Hopkins, and yeah, I've always been interested in electronics and engineering, and building stuff's sort of my passion. So being able to do this was a lot of fun.
So, what gave you the idea to use a typewriter, and what can your typewriter do?
Yeah, so the main inspiration for this project was this video by Curious Mark, where he took a teletype from the 1830s and turned it into a Linux terminal. He built like a whole adapter for its serial port and all that. It was really complicated, really cool project. But seeing that really I guess it made me want to experience what using a teletype was like. So I decided I wanted to turn a typewriter into one. And yeah, that's sort of where it came from.
Great. So, can you show us one of your typewriters?
Yeah. So here, let me just switch the camera over real quick. And yeah, so this is the. Oh, it seems to be frozen right now. One sec.
That's a
Technical
beautiful
difficulties
setup.
here.
What year is that typewriter from?
It was made in, I'm pretty sure 1989. But
Wow,
it might have been
AX25.
later. Yeah.
The keys look fantastic on it. Just
Yeah,
the
the
color
colours.
scheme
Oh, yeah.
is just so different to what we used to.
Yeah, those are some keycaps I got from Taihao.
Oh, so you fixed
on
that
their
up.
site.
They
Yeah,
didn't
so
come like
no, yeah. It's a really cool custom keyboard. Okay, so is that unfrozen now? I hope.
I still just see the. Oh, there.
Nope.
Now we see
There
it.
you go.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Hey.
So,
Great.
yeah. Custom keyboard and all that. And it can. Yeah, so there's a Raspberry Pi inside of it. I can crack this open. Right
Please
in
do.
there. The Raspberry Pi Zero, and that's providing the Linux terminal over its serial port. And
Nice.
then that goes out to the Arduino, which scans the keyboard, controls the typewriter, and prints this all out. So
That's awesome. Which Arduino is it?
It's a Arduino Nano.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just log in real quick.
So is that a regular 0 or is it a 0W?
02W actually.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
That's a fancy
fabled.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not many of them in the wild.
Oh yeah, it was hard to get this one. One of my viewers actually sent it to me. Very generous of him.
That's awesome.
Okay, so now it's doing the thing. So I guess I can.
Oh, that is so satisfying.
Yeah.
That's a good noise. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to log in from my laptop because it does some funky stuff with the keyboard sometimes when they're typing in your password and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, is there anything you guys would like to see it do, or?
Can you zoom in so we can see what it's putting on the paper? Is that?
Yeah. Here, I'll move the camera in a little bit more. There.
So does it put everything on the paper that you put that the terminal would print out?
Yeah. So that was actually a really big problem when I was initially setting this all up, because when it boots up, it spits out like a ton of different logs and stuff, and I had to disable that to prevent myself from wasting a ton of paper.
That's an obstacle that you might not think of at the beginning of that kind of project,
No,
especially
yeah,
if you're troubleshooting it and starting it over a few times.
Yeah, yeah, that got really annoying really fast. So I turned that off very quickly.
I've got a request. I think what our viewers would like to see is if you could make it print out some ASCII art.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here, let me just oh right, the I key isn't working anymore for some reason. Go, and then I can check what's in there. Which one of these would be nice?
It's so satisfying to see a directory listing coming out on a teletype.
No, yeah, it's so great.
That is great.
But yeah, here, let's what would be good to print? I think the Penrose triangle is pretty
Oh, classic.
nice and small.
Do it.
There we go.
Every time
So, yeah,
it drops a
it,
line, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it's very fun to watch. But yeah, it just every character it receives from the Raspberry Pi. Oh, sorry. The Arduino uses a couple multiplexers to control the typewriter, and then it prints out the character.
Awesome.
So
So it's a
this will-
serial connection from the Pi to the Arduino.
Yeah,
Brill.
yeah, it's at
So-
1200 baud, turned all the way down.
Is that via USB or are you using the serial pins on the GPIO?
Yeah, so I'm using the UART pins right at the, I think it's 5 and 6 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. That is awesome.
So yeah, it's almost getting there. I think the line height's actually set incorrectly. You can tell because the spacing between the lines is pretty big.
Stretching it out a little.
Yeah.
Is the paper continuous, or does it like do you have to keep putting new pieces in if it runs out of
Yeah.
paper?
So I'm just using like 8.5 sheets by paper, or 8.5 by 11, regular like legal size paper. But yeah, I could put in some continuous paper later on. But there's the finished thing.
Wow.
I don't know
Wow.
why the lines are spaced out so much like that, but I guess something just got changed at some point.
Was there anything particular about the multiplexer that you had to use?
So I guess the main reason I chose this multiplexer instead of like any other one is because it's got the right number of channels. Because the keyboard uses 2 connectors. Actually, I can show you. So here's sort of the original membrane keyboard without the keys and all that. But it's got these 2 connectors that connect to the typewriter's motherboard, I guess.
Yeah.
One's 8 pins and one's 11 pins. So I needed something with at least 11 pins, and that's why I settled on the, what is it, CD74H whatever.
Yeah.
It's got 16 channels, so yeah.
Oh, perfect.
So what happens if you're typing entering a command using the keyboard and you have to hit the backspace?
So here, let me show you what happens. So say I type like I don't know. Let's say I want to make a directory, and I do make I guess I doesn't work, but if I press backspace, it advances a character, but really on the Raspberry Pi's end, it deletes it. I could make it so that it corrects the character and like removes it, because this has like a essentially whiteout built into it. But I haven't programmed that just yet.
Yes, it's one of those typewriters that had the like the erase thing. I used to have one when I was younger. I had not a Brother, but a Smith Corona that was like that, where if you hit the back button, it would there was a back button, it would erase the previous character.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
Mine would
Really
just
good
overlap.
Yeah, same with mine.
yeah, that is really
brilliant.
cool. So what is the most like intensive thing you've tried actually doing on that? Have you tried reading email or like editing a file in, oh man, I can't imagine what it must be like to edit a file in Nano or something.
So I've actually okay, I've tried using Nano. Sadly, it doesn't work. It just, well, I guess I can show you what it does. It just sort of does this and keeps going forever.
Nice.
But yeah, and it starts beeping. If I can use Ed though to edit documents. Ed, the standard text editor or whatever. Okay, it's still going. I thought I stopped it, but yeah. So Nano doesn't behave that well, but Ed does, luckily.
So does it output everything that it sees on the screen, like, or just standard output or standard error or something?
I'm actually not entirely sure. I think it's just everything on standard out, but I might be wrong. It depends on what the Raspberry Pi outputs to its UART, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I can imagine playing like a dungeon crawler adventure, like a rogue game.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah,
That'd
I
be
was thinking of
great fun.
installing like Zork or something on it. Like text-based game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that sounds like a great use of this would be you could play a game on it. I'm trying to think of all the different sci-fi movies I've had where people got some kind of strange communications on a typewriter.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
either from another dimension or from the future or something like that.
It was just
Episode
Artillect with the Pi
of
Zero.
Episode 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Picard says to the crew that they should have a message sent to all decks and all stations in printout only about Q attacking them.
Oh really?
And that's the
yeah.
only time in the entire series they mention printout. That's it. It's gone.
That's a deep
crazy. I
cut.
had no idea.
I thought, like in that show Fringe, they had something like that where they were getting communications from the other dimension on a typewriter, and there've been, I think, a few shows or a few things where there were like weird, messages coming in on a typewriter from, I don't know, the future or other zones. So that's it's just wild that like you could have stuff come in on that typewriter. Is that the only typewriter that you're using for this, or have you tried other ones too?
So, well, actually, originally I'd planned to do this project with a Smith Corona. I think it was a PWD 350 or something. But that was years ago, and I never really got around to doing it. So yeah, this is the only one I've got doing this right now.
Could you do this with a much older style typewriter? Like, how far back could you go? Because this is a fairly high-tech typewriter.
So something like, I'm probably gonna guess like the early 80s probably is the earliest you could go back, and this would be like pretty straightforward to do. Because before then they were using electromechanical systems mostly, I think, like the IBM Selectric and all that. And with that, there's a lot more mechanical stuff going on that you have to interface with, which would be really fun, actually, given that I'm a mechanical engineer. But
Yeah, it's up your alley.
okay, got it behaving again. But yeah, so like if I want to edit a document too, like just for normal purposes, I can go ed and then, I don't know, test. And it'll complain that there's no file that exists, but then I can start editing. So I just do A to enter insert mode, and then hi or hello, and then period, WQ to quit, and then I can do that. So yeah, that's how editing documents works on this. And I've also logged into the Retro Battle Stations BBS. That didn't go amazingly, but let me see if I can find that. I've got the paper somewhere. I've got
You have a printout of all of your logs.
Is that the
That's
BBS
the-
run by Fostex?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not been there myself. I do keep a lookout on battle stations, retro battle stations, for stuff like that. It's good fun.
Yeah, I think I made a post. I don't remember, but I don't know if it went through or not.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, have you opened this up to the wider world so people can send messages to it, you know, and have a bit of fun on the internet?
That would actually be really fun. I was thinking if I did more live streams and stuff, I'd have this
Mhm.
set up with like the donation messages or whatever.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
that'd be really fun to just like hear it start printing and then be like, oh, new message. Yeah.
That would be
That'd be
slick.
cool. Yeah,
Or
I
tie
mean,
it up with Twitter and have it respond to certain hashtags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like something like that. That'd be really cool.
yeah, all the different APIs that you could use to connect up to and have messages come up. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I'll have to check that out because I've been wanting to do something like that. That'd be fun.
You do have a W.
Yeah. That. I mean I have to say this is one of the most amazing and original things that I've ever seen somebody do with a Pi. So really, congratulations
you.
on doing something
Yeah.
really, really amazing and unique. What other projects have you worked on?
Yeah, so this is the first thing I've done sort of like on my own outside of school. Because the last 4 years I've been in university, and that's really taken up a lot of my time. But for my senior like thesis project, my team and I designed a safety system for angle grinders. So it lets. I mean, I'm assuming that you guys know what angle grinders are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we designed a system that let it redundantly identify wheels so that they could be run at their like rated speeds to prevent the user from running it too fast and breaking it, or I guess running it too slow and not getting enough performance out of it. But
Yeah.
I can't really talk too much about the details of that because that's still like under NDA and all that. But yeah, that's the big picture of that.
Oh, neat. Did you guys use any Raspberry Pis in any of the stuff you guys worked on in school?
Actually, no. It was well, since I was in mechanical engineering, we did a lot of just building stuff, not really a whole lot of electronics. But the electronics we did do, I think, was mostly Arduino, or just like regular, just passive parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never really messed around with the Raspberry Pi at all.
Wow.
Which would have been a lot of fun though, because
Yeah.
like I'm kind of sad that I discovered Arduino and the Raspberry Pi like this year, basically, because it's so like easy to mess around with and tinker with. Like,
So this
if I
is
knew
really your
about
first
this
Pi
years ago.
project.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good. Most people just flash an LED.
I mean, yeah, I've done a lot of programming stuff, so I've got the software side down, but the hardware side's sort of more where I'm learning nowadays. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how easy was it to work out how to use the GPIOs for the Arduino and the Pi? Was it difficult or was it easy? Because you're not from an electronics background, are you?
Yeah. So I've done some stuff with the Arduino before, so I knew how to work with the like inputs and outputs and all that.
Yeah.
But for this, like it wasn't really that hard because the Raspberry Pi, to get the serial port working, you just enable something in Raspberry config, and then it just pops up on the UART. But for the Arduino, it did take a little bit more finagling with, I guess, because I needed 2 serial ports, one for connecting to my laptop and one for the Raspberry Pi, just for debugging to make things easier. And then a bajillion ports to control the multiplexers. I'm using every single pin on the Nano, except for one, I think. So yeah, running
That's
very
awesome.
close to my hardware requirements. But yeah, after that, like I just had to sort out which pins went where and program it to get it to do what I want. So
brilliant. Lovely piece of work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, amazing. So speaking of things that are kind of amazing, there's some really amazing Halloween projects that people have been working on that you've been tracking, Ash.
Yeah, well, I wanted to highlight some of my favorite Halloween projects that we've actually covered at Tom's Hardware, because you've got 2 weeks until the big day. Well, almost 2 weeks. So if you're looking for something to tinker around with, take a look at these projects because they're more than inspiring. They're just cool and spooky. So let me switch my screen over here. I mean, it's not Halloween, I think, if you don't have a good jack-o'-lantern. And we actually have a couple of jack-o'-lantern projects. This one here uses little LED lights so you can make them blink and look around, and uses a Pico to drive. And then this jack-o'-lantern project, it actually moves around and looks towards, we're using 2 motion sensors. It detects where somebody's in the room, and it's supposed to kind of follow the person around. So you don't even have to use a jack-o'-lantern. You could find a skull or a crow or something else creepy. And maybe you have, if you're handing out candy this year, you could put that out on the front porch, and people...
That's cool.
Yeah, get a little spooked by that. And if they're not spooked by that, then they should be spooked by this head that Ryder Damon made. We have had him on the show a couple times before, and I think he's actually wrote this as a how-to guide so you can follow along with it. But he's using a mannequin head to follow people, and I don't think he's using motion sensors. I think he's actually tracking faces with the camera. I'm not positive on that. I'd have to... Yeah, he's using a Pi cam to see where somebody is, and then the mannequin will follow them as they go by. And if that's not enough, here's a zombie arm that Ryder also made. So if somebody walks up on your front porch, zombie arm, look out. I guess high five it and hope you don't break it. But then another one I thought that was really cool, because let's say maybe you're not handing out candy and you don't really want to scare people, but maybe you're throwing a party. We have a fog machine, a Raspberry Pi powered fog machine. A smart one too, so it goes off when you walk by, so maybe you don't want it, constantly blowing out fog. Motion sensor, or maybe just use a camera, a little bit of AI to have it triggered during certain circumstances, so it keeps everything nice and spooky. But by far, my favorite project that we've covered before for Halloween was this picture frame that actually has a screen on it. And I think the asset that they used for the video that plays is from a website, so you can pay for different video clips, but it looks like a painting, and then it comes to life when something scary happens. You can see the picture here of the lady. She's all happy and nice, and all of a sudden she's got this guy's head in her hands. She's covered in blood. But they have ones that aren't quite so scary if you wanted something a little more tame, if you got little kids. But it's kind of like it reminds me of like the pictures from Harry Potter where they come to life, and you could use, I don't know, I guess motion detection, so it only does that whenever you walk by, or trigger it all sorts of ways. But those were some of the coolest Pi projects I think that we've covered for Halloween, and I wanted to show them to you guys.
The screen, the picture at the end is my favorite one, because that is just genuinely terrifying when it changes.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's like video clips, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a really simple animation sequence of going from one scene to the other. It's not even a proper video; it's just a few frames. But it just works so creepily, and it's just triggered. It's either a PIR sensor or a Doppler radar sensor. I'm not too sure which one it is, but so simple, just on or off state of the sensor, and obviously detect someone, bang, you're scared.
Halloween's just a good time to whip out motion sensors.
Yeah, definitely.
There was that one project Ryder had. Oh, before you go, Abram, there was I don't think it was for Halloween. I think it was to try and stop package thieves. But if you walked by, the motion sensor would trigger, and it would blast a person with flour. That one was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, I think the scariest thing you could do on a Raspberry Pi is set it to do something where it will look like it can't boot. Because you'll have a hard time finding a new one. So if you just have it turn on just a red light and don't show any picture, it just turns steady red and doesn't turn a picture, then that would be pretty scary considering how much it costs to get a new Raspberry Pi.
There is a version of Linux that's, I can't remember, I want to call it Suicide Linux, but I don't know its proper name.
Oh yeah.
And it's a version of Linux where if you get the commands wrong, it just formats the drive. It's sudo rmf en route. That's it.
I wanted to try that out at some point. It seems like a lot of fun.
Don't use it on anything in production, whatever you do.
Yes.
Abram, what you mentioned reminded me of, I was watching some videos online the other day, and somebody was tricking their dad. They had a TV that was connected to the internet, because all TVs are these days. And they had a 24-hour video playing on YouTube, and it looked like a broken screen. So you had lines everywhere and it was shattered, and you could see the dad just walk in and he's carrying this TV and he's sitting it down underneath the broken TV, looking all frustrated, trying to hook it up. And then they changed the video and he looks up at it and he realizes it wasn't actually broken. So you could do something like that with your Pi too.
Nice.
Just plug it into like behind where they're not looking into the HDMI port.
Speaking of things that you can do with your Pi, Les, you have been doing something with a Raspberry Pi Pico W.
I have indeed, yes. So the end of last week, Adafruit announced that CircuitPython is now available for the Pico W, Raspberry Pi Pico W. So CircuitPython 8, it's beta 2. So it's still not a proper full release yet. It's still in beta. So there's some bugs here and there. But I was playing with it earlier on last week and just seeing how it all works. And I have to say, I'm impressed. So I'm already a fan of CircuitPython, have been since 2018 when I first got a Gemma M0 at PyCon. And great language. It's very similar to MicroPython. In fact, it's a fork of MicroPython. But it uses a simpler way of introducing modules of code for pre-written libraries. So if you want to use a screen or a sensor, you just go to this package of modules, pick which sensor it is, drop it into the libs folder, and then import away in your code. And that's it. It's easy. So I've been messing around with it for the last day or two. And you can see on my desk is a Raspberry Pi Pico W and a tiny OLED screen. So that's 128 by 64, no, 32 pixels. Let's get it right. There we go. And right now it's just showing standard output from CircuitPython, which is saying I'm on version 8 beta 2 and I'm using Phony. So what this does, this Pico will go online, get a Tom's Hardware RSS feed for the news. It then uses an online resource to convert that to JSON, which I then, on the Pico W, extract the top 5 headlines and show them across that tiny screen. So I'm going to do this live, so it's probably going to go wrong. But the first part's gone wrong already. I can't show you my Phony screen, unfortunately. It won't let me show it in OBS, but hey-ho. So it's loading the code now, and you'll see scrolling text. Tom's Hardware News. Yeah, I've heard of that. And that's going to get the 5 headlines. It's going to scroll them across. So that was a scale 3, the size of the text there. So that was a nice big bold text. This is scale 2, so it's slightly smaller, and it's updating every 0.1 second. So you can see they've got the Samsung review there. Lenovo showcases a concept laptop, and edited that earlier on today. It's got a rollable display. Really interesting. And it just goes through all the headlines, and then every half an hour, it will go online, get the latest headlines, and show them on the screen. It's all passive, so I can have this on my desk and it can show me some really cool headlines from anywhere in the world. So I can import any feed that I want, any RSS feed, any JSON feed, and away we go. And I'm writing this up as a how-to for the sites later on this week. And talking about some different ways of outputting things, I've got another display coming. So this is OLED display here. I've got one such as this, which is, let's get it in shot. There you go. That's a Nokia 5110 for all the old people in the audience. Do you remember them? Indestructible phones? Normally I will use something like this. That's fallen off my desk. You can hear that noise. There we go. That's my I2C LCD screen. Unfortunately, it died yesterday, but I've got a new one coming, which is a vacuum fluorescent display, VFD.
It looks so huge next to your little one.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
So that's coming in. I got it from Bad Dog Designs today. And 40 characters. It's just simple serial. All you need is about 4 lines of Arduino code just to send serial output to it. And of course, I can do that on a Pico W. So I can have lovely scrolling, bright visual text in my face showing me the headlines all day long.
What can you tell us about the power draw? Would it be hard to power that whole setup with a battery? And I know everyone would love to have that as a badge for conventions.
Not really, no. That would be some proper 80s cheese if you had one of those as a badge at a conference. I think it runs at 5 volts. I know that. I'm not sure the current draw, but I know it will run from an Arduino Nano's 5 volt output, which I'm thinking it's going to be in millivolts. That really, so it's not going to be a lot. Milliamps, I should say, not millivolts.
Right.
So it should be nice and gentle, sipping the battery. The biggest draw is going to be the Pico W, and the Wi-Fi when that's on. But even then, it's not going to pull a lot. But yeah, good stuff. And CircuitPython 8, really easy. There'll be how-to coming soon.
Nice work. That's really
Thank
cool.
you.
Great. That's really awesome. I mean, it's great to be able to take advantage of the Wi-Fi capabilities of the Pico W. So, it's just amazing all the things that we can connect to the internet, whether it's a typewriter or a really tiny screen or something that sprays powder at you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to everyone for watching and listening, and thank you so much to Riley for joining us. His project is absolutely amazing. Where can we go, folks, go to learn more about your projects? Go to youtube.com/c/Artillect, ARTILLECT 0, to see Riley's videos, which are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we will be back here at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time next Tuesday. We look forward to seeing you all then. Bye, everyone.